Full and uncut versions available on Patreon. Check in the description below. Greetings once again, inmates, or should I say deadbeats. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more of Suicide Squad Isekai, the music video for the ending theme song Go-Getters by Mori Calliope. Now, this is actually very interesting because this is officially endorsed and produced through WB with the help of the studio that made the entire anime. And what studio was that again? Let me check. It's WIT, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So, man, officially made, officially produced, she's been coming up very high in the world. From doing the promotional song for one of the One Piece volumes that ends up being used at the little informational thing at the end of each episode, to now doing this, just up and up and up and up, and you love to see it. Or if you're a hater, you don't love to see it. But I'm interested to actually see this, as this is something I've held off on until I completed the series. Maybe that was a good thing, maybe that was a bad thing. You never know. So let's check out this music video, shall we? Freaking skull. Go-getters. Ooh, hold on. Okay. Nice. Ooh. Well then. Very well animated. And Harley. Hey, the whole squad? Yes. God, this looks gorgeous. Kind of what makes me wish she was in the actual anime. Okay, so it's mostly just Harley and Mori. This is not a bad idea. You have the fantasy with Mori and then the real world with Harley. And you had Teddy Lloyd on this too. Good stuff. Honestly, the comparison between Mori and Harley, you can see how thin Harley is, but that's not a bad thing. The dance is interesting too. Oh, it's like cameoing the rest of the squad. Boom, boom. Oh, breaking it down. The crossover. Honestly, this is mostly just Harley's story. Oh, did they lock eyes or something? Reaching out for each other. This dance is so interesting. Oh, okay. Got to see some actual action. Oh. Oh, man, Harley is a lot more like she's properly trained almost in combat, even though we know she isn't. And the rest of the squad just being there, that gets me. A couple of troublemakers. That's good. That is good. I mean, say what you want about Calliope's, songs and stuff, but they're really catchy. I actually really had a great time watching that. The one thing that always got me in the actual anime was you'd have this glowing eye effect, especially on Harley and sometimes on the other characters. And it kind of sometimes made me wonder, was Harley maybe influencing the rest of the members of the squad? Because their powers were very nebulous when it came to that series. Like, sometimes you'd have some characters who seem to have some kind of power, but then others wouldn't. Because what power did Deadshot have? What power did Rick Flag have? We know that Nanoe had healing. Clayface, his powers had gotten really kind of odd and out there, where he was able to turn other things into his clay, but it also kind of limited him. Or was that just the nature of the series in and of itself? Because there were times where Clayface would just get beaten and it's like, but how? And then Harley, a nebulous kind of super strength, but it only seemed to come out when she was swinging. And it almost seemed like it was her swinging her bat a certain kind of way. So, I will also say that, on the one hand, it would have sucked to see her get destroyed, but I kind of wish that Mori Calliope's design was used for the Undead King instead of what we got. I feel like she would have made a much better villain. Hey, look at that. And of course, the patented boob jiggle. But she has a great design. A great design. A great design. A great design. And then the funny thing about that gets me with Harley, and this is mostly just an excuse to just watch her hip shake, but again, like I said before, she's so thin. This despite the fact that she's wearing the little next to nothing that we've gotten used to seeing Harley in, this is probably the most least sexualized version of Harley, despite all the angles we sometimes get with her, like the crotch shots and the booty shots and the down the shirt shots and all that, because she's just so petite. But the design works too. Peacemaker feels like the least altered for this series. I mean, Deadshot when he has his helmet on. Rick Flag, they made a lot of the characters look so young too. Harley and Rick specifically, and the decision to have Clayface constantly being a human guy, to some degree that actually makes sense, because why would he just constantly be in his mud form, you know? And then King Shark with the overalls probably would be dancing too. The rest of the squad is probably just watching her like, oh, there goes Harley, dancing through the prison again. And they gave her a very playful and impish kind of way about her too. Like, there are just certain moments where they just really bring out the cuteness, and then other moments where they really bring out the very sadistic angle of her. Like, her personality could change on a dime, which is very true. And it's also interesting because we never had that moment of her breaking away from the Joker, which is also kind of interesting. I wonder if they were maybe trying to save that for a second season, if they thought they were getting it. It's a great shot. And the dance is kind of fun. See, the way they do Mori Calliope is like, okay, we could have gotten really sexual when it came to Harley, but they restrained the shit out of themselves, because you could have had boob jiggles every few minutes, a big old booty, just everything. But man, getting so big that you're actually in a music video doing a song for Harley. And that should also say something about Harley's character, because it goes without saying how big the character has gotten, but for a character who was introduced specifically just to be a secondary character to Joker, it's kind of like how Robin / Nightwing got big. Someone who's created just to be a sidekick and ends up being a very interesting and prominent character in and of their own right. Honestly, that makes it so that both Harley and Mori Calliope have a lot in common. Two characters who, well, a character and a person who started from very, basic beginnings. I had come across this kind of almost like a documentary kind of thing on Mori Calliope, saying that she had come from very interesting beginnings, going to the Japanese underground rap scene and then doing VTubing on a whim, and then gaining so much prominence with the English VTubing community. Because I'm forgetting the little shark girl VTuber's name, but that's the only one who probably has just as much, if not more, prominence than Mori Calliope, but at the same time isn't doing as much as she is. Because I think Mori Calliope and her other more human guys is still doing a lot of her doing stuff on that end too. So it's like she does VTubing just to be able to do even more stuff. That is fascinating. I appreciate the hustle, and I love this little bit of sadistic look from the two of them. Like, these moments where you'd see especially Harley get that like sinister look in her eyes, they make no qualms about showing just how unhinged Harley is. And a lot of things do really point out, like, no, Harley's not in her right mind. She hurts a lot of people and kills a lot of people. While I do like her being a bit of an anti-hero nowadays, there's still that kind of murderous edge to her still, which kind of puts her more in the same category nowadays as Jason Todd more than anything else. Yeah, just blood flying everywhere. I mean, of course you'd have blood flying, he just got nailed by a freaking bat, but all's forgiven with that charming smile of hers. Just, damn, all you have to do is flash that smile. It's just like, oh, Harley's so cute. She make the blood go fly fly. But yeah, Harley was definitely the favorite of the animators when it came to this series. I feel like they just wanted an excuse to do things with Harley, but then again, Harley, cute girl who looks cute as an anime character, definitely would buy the figures if I had the money for it. And there's definitely gonna be like a Harley Quinn figure based off of the Suicide Isekai anime. But I really do wonder, will this get some kind of follow-up? What do you think? Was this a good enough series to get a follow-up? It's gotten a lot of attention mostly because of the premise. And DC has been crossing over with a lot of stuff time of recording. From the Ruby crossover to this, with them going to anime, which they've done it before, but to do an isekai. And then you have the upcoming Sonic DC crossover, where they're crossing over with the Justice League, which I hear is supposed to be like a 2-year thing. DC has done its best to try to branch out as much as it can. Avenue that Marvel tried to do, but hasn't been able to do enough. When it's come to animation and actual comic books, DC tends to be the standout, and Marvel stood out more with the movies, but even that is starting to kind of wane a little bit. But DC, they make sure you're fed a lot of their characters, whereas Marvel has been very restrained, especially when it comes to animation. And that's kind of been a bit of a double-edged sword. Because while you might say that this whole endeavor has been a bust, I mean, shoot, it got some attention, even just for a moment. And you never know, maybe one day we'll look back on this and be shocked that Harley was so in the forefront, or, you know, just another feather in the cap of how prominent Harley tends to be. Because this music video made it very clear Harley is front and center of all of this, which was very prominent in the anime too. We opened with Harley, and ultimately, the spoiler alert, the Joker was running a lot of things behind the scenes. But enough yapping from me. I just wanted to take this moment to get my final thoughts on the Suicide Squad isekai anime as a whole, as well as Mori Calliope, who keeps appearing in a lot of stuff that I watch as well. I'm interested to see what she appears in next that I'm checking out later down the line, but let me know your thoughts on this music video in the comment section below, or the Suicide Isekai story as a whole too. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Do you feel like it could have been better? Are you just here for more Mori Calliope? Or just to see Harley dance? Or both? It's really up to you. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.